I can't control anything. We're running into one time because
It is 2 o'clock in the afternoon, viewers. I don't know if you can tell from the footage just how hot it is. Vancouverites are wearing a variety of clothing today. Some of them have been smart and have put on their shorts and t-shirts. Some of us have not been so smart and we're wearing jeans and a t-shirt. Well, viewers, you will recall from our episode on Monday that when I was standing next to these cult members holding out their propaganda, they left. Notice how the cult members today are not leaving. I wonder if the difference is simply that I am not wearing the Jehovah suit. I wonder if it's good enough for these cult members to not leave today because I am not wearing the Jehovah suit, whereas on Monday I was wearing it and standing with the literature, and you'll recall the brother saying, "We don't need this guy representing us." So I guess because it's obvious that I'm not representing them today simply because I am not dressed appropriately, it is good enough for these cult members to stay. It is good enough for these cult members to stay and hear me read to you from the Circuit Overseer Guidelines. The Circuit Overseer Guidelines contain many fascinating subjects, but the one I thought we would zero in on once again today was the Appendix D, Checklist when considering appointments and deletions. Checklist when considering appointments and deletions based on 1 Timothy 3 verses 1 to 13, Titus chapter 1 verses 5 to 9, James chapter 3 verse 17 and 18, and 1 Peter 5 and verse 2. Before making appointments of elders and ministerial servants, please consider the following, keeping in mind that each brother must measure up to a reasonable degree. Again, bear in mind, viewers, this is material intended exclusively for the circuit overseer. Once a brother is appointed as a circuit overseer, he will receive 130 pages and guidelines that he is to follow. Once again, viewers, we will now consider material from the Circuit Overseer Guidelines, Appendix D, checklist when considering appointments and deletions. Before making appointments of elders and ministerial servants, please consider the following, keeping in mind that each brother must measure up to a reasonable degree. And not to worry, viewers, these female cult members will have their male counterparts decide for them whether or not they measure up to a reasonable degree. But when it comes to the Circuit Overseer, his responsibility as far as checking boxes regarding appointments and deletions, he is to consider the following: experience and maturity, sufficient age, life experience, and respect of congregation, baptized at least 1 year. If baptized many years ago, why only now being recommended? If baptized many years ago, why only now being recommended? Wow, that's a good question. I wonder how the circuit overseer would go about determining why he is only now being recommended. I wonder if he would hear from everyone in the congregation or just his fellow appointed cult members. Those beneath him, actually. So when the circuit overseer needs to decide whether or not what to put under this subheading, and needs to determine why a potentially appointed cult member is only being considered for appointment now, even though he was baptized many years ago, what do you think the odds are, viewers, that the circuit overseer is going to care in the least what these female cult members have to say on the subject? What are the odds, viewers, do you think, that the circuit overseer would go around the congregation and ask the opinion of these female cult members whether or not a brother that he was considering appointing as an elder should be appointed, considering that he was baptized many years ago and he is only now being recommended? Hi, sisters. My name is Brother Circuit Overseer. As you may or may not know, one of the responsibilities I have on this trip, one of many, is to decide whether or not Brother so-and-so should be appointed as an elder even though he was baptized many years ago. Now, the guidelines have told me that I need to figure out why he's only now being recommended. Would you mind giving me your opinion on Brother so-and-so? Brother Circuit Overseer. Oh, he's a wonderful brother. His comments are wonderful, and his service groups are fine, and he, you know what, I think he's been tested as to fitness. Oh, where did you hear that expression, sister? Oh, it was in the Watchtower on Sunday. Yeah, so I think he's been tested as to fitness, and if it were up to me, I know it's not up to me, but if it were up to me, I would say, go ahead and appoint this brother. Thank you very much, sister. I wonder what the odds are that this conversation would ever take place. Family. Wife and any children living at home, good examples. Regular family worship. Scriptural marriage. If separated or divorced, what are the circumstances? I wonder if this cult member is going to try to say that that person and I were together. I wonder if this cult member is going to try to, somehow spin events from our episode today so as to tell an elder or tell a police officer that the man who was just shouting, causing a disturbance, was with me. The way the cult member in a previous episode tried to say that the man who said Jehovah's Witnesses should go kill themselves was with me, even though you know I would never say such a thing. So again, I wonder if that cult member is trying to figure out how to group me with that poor individual. Because you have seen it happen before. Of course, you never see it happen while they're being filmed, But as you know, one cult member did tell her husband that the gentleman and I said thus and such. As you know, viewers, what is good enough for the cult member to define as the reality really only has to be a snapshot. A few select moments and the reality is defined for the cult member. Anyway, back to Appendix D, checklist when considering appointments and deletions, family. Wife and any children, living at home, good examples? What is a good example in the eyes of these cult members? I wonder if lying to people who ask them some pointed questions about their beliefs is a good example. I wonder if physically intimidating people who ask them some pointed questions about their religion is a good example. I wonder if filming from across the street and then running away when somebody approaches them is a good example to these cult members. And of course, viewers, I wonder if physically assaulting somebody who asks them some pointed questions about their religion is a good example. Of course, the circuit overseer is never going to hear about that, unless, of course, he is allowed to watch YouTube. See, these cult members are not allowed to go to YouTube to watch themselves, but as you know, the appointed men in the cult, while feeling that the sheep can't handle the raw facts about their religion, he can handle the raw facts about their religion, so no doubt the circuit overseer will be going to YouTube, the circuit overseer will be going to jwfacts.com, the circuit overseer will be going to jwsurvey.org, the circuit overseer will be viewing footage from the Australian Royal Commission, etc., etc. Regular family worship? Scriptural marriage? If separated or divorced, what are the circumstances? What are the circumstances of the separation or divorce, viewers? Again, that is the responsibility, among many others, of the circuit overseer. Field service activity. Again, viewers, remember, we are considering the checklist. Yes, indeed, this cult does have a checklist when it comes to whether or not brothers being recommended for either appointment or deletion are to meet. We are examining a theocratically sound, a divinely inspired checklist. Believe it or not, viewers, straight from the circuit overseer guidelines, which these cult members are welcome to go see for themselves. All they would have to do is go to Reddit, type Faydehr, Faydehr, and see in one of her recent posts that not only is circuit overseer guidelines, but the 2017 convention guidelines, along with the Shepherding the Flock of God manual, are all online for them to read. If these cult members wanted to be honest about examining themselves, not in light of how their leaders are telling them, but how their own reasoning ability, their own desire for truth, and their own common sense, they would be able to do that. Again, returning to Appendix D, checklist when considering appointments and deletions. Field service activity. Meaningful, zealous share. I wonder if these cult members think they're having a meaningful, zealous share in the ministry today. I wonder if I were to ask these cult members if anyone has done anything other than look at them and smile at them, if they would say, no. Plenty of people have come to take the literature. We've started, you started a Bible study, sister. I've started at least 2. I wonder if we were to ask these cult members how many Bible studies they have started by standing like statues here in the last 3, 4, 5 years since this work started, if they would answer. Who do you have to be to get an answer to certain questions from these cult members? Perhaps if I were Gandalf in the wheelchair, and I asked these cult members, hey, so how many Bible studies have you guys started from doing this work? If he would get an answer, or if I would get an answer then. Again, who do you have to be to get answers to certain questions from these cult members that are actually the truth? Field service activity. Restricted share because of other spiritual obligations or theocratic projects. I wonder if these cult members are involved in other theocratic projects. I wonder if these cult members are balancing their time between serving Jehovah by way of the ministry, by way of being on a regional committee, a special committee, a cleaning committee, and who knows what else. Of course, as you know, the female cult members are not really invited to participate in all the committees. That is reserved exclusively for the men. It is unfortunate that fellow cult members are not fully benefiting from the experience and the pain and the life experience and the humiliation that no doubt these female cult members have experienced at the hands of their male counterparts. Perhaps they'll retain some of the information I'm reading to you today that is coming straight from the Circuit Overseer Guidelines. I wonder if these female cult members are secretly enjoying hearing me read to you from the Circuit Overseer Guidelines. I wonder if part of them, while they know shouldn't be here listening to it, if there is another part of them secretly enjoying standing here knowing that they're hearing something strictly intended for a circuit overseer. Men who no doubt spend at least, 15, 20, 30 years qualifying for that appointment. Field service activity. Restricted share because of other spiritual obligations or theocratic projects. Tested as to fitness. One of my favorites, viewers. Tested as to fitness. Shows himself to be a spiritual man. Shows himself to be a spiritual man. How do these cult members show themselves to be spiritual people, viewers? How do Jehovah's Witnesses show themselves to be spiritual people? Well, you know what? They will decide how. You will not, as an ex-cult member, present these current cult members with any opportunities whatsoever to show what spiritual men and women they are. The governing body will do that for you. See, viewers, you and I, as ex-members of this cult, are not in any position to present these cult members with opportunities to show what spiritual men and women you are, because as you know, when you try, the only thing they care about determining is whether or not you've been disfellowshipped or if you are an apostate. And once they've been able to confirm that, that is the end of the conversation, isn't it? That will be the end of that conversation, won't it? Tested as to fitness. Cares for responsibilities. The viewpoint of elders. Is recommendation unanimous? Again, viewers, each of these points are phrased as a question. There is a question mark after every single one of these points. Cares for responsibilities? Is recommendation unanimous? Past difficulties. Past difficulties, viewers. Reproved within the past 3 years? Or reinstated within the past 5 years? Reproved within the past 3 years or reinstated within the past 5 years? Yes, see for yourself, viewers, and that is what it says. Under past difficulties, and the next point reads, notoriety of past wrongdoing subsided? Definite improvement in area of previous weakness? Yeah. So if a fellow male cult member has been reproved within the last 3 years or reinstated within the last 5 years, that is going to be an issue for the circuit overseer in considering whether or not he is to be appointed as an appointed cult member. What a treat it would be, viewers, to be a fly on the wall in the meeting between the elders and the circuit overseer when the circuit overseer has to discuss this with his fellow appointed cult members, now that we know exactly what he's reading. Wow. I wonder if somebody is going to be able to upload that video. I wonder if somebody who is serving as an elder, who is physically in and mentally out, is going to be able to secretly record a meeting with the elders and the circuit overseer where we will see what that particular circuit overseer is doing in the way of being able to tick off these boxes. Viewed pornography. Accusation of child abuse. Accusation of child abuse. Again, viewers, really, you do know the point. Nothing affects these cult members other than the accusation of child abuse. Actual child abuse is not an issue. It doesn't happen. And if it does happen, well, Satan is powerful. Satan is powerful, viewers. And Jehovah is a God of perfect love, wisdom, justice, and power. And if child abuse does occur within his organization, well, then that's just because we're living in the last days, facing critical times hard to deal with. Not because Watchtower is a pedophile's paradise. Before making appointments of elders, please also consider the following. Shepherding. Received training by elders. This sister is humming. This sister has begun to hum, viewers. She's begun to sway back and forth and hum because she really does honestly believe that her love and her faith and her determination to only speak and seek the truth is being tested today. Observe this cult member rely on her memory when it comes to kingdom melodies and swaying back and forth, which she stopped doing now. Shepherding. Received training by elders. Teaching. Able to teach. This cult member doesn't understand that I am not talking to her. I don't understand why I have to keep repeating myself to some of these cult members when they don't realize that we are not even talking to them. We are chronicling their behavior, inviting them to go to YouTube to see for themselves, which we honestly do hope they will do. If I was in this cult once upon a time, and somebody came up to me and was insisting on reading, not to me, but to anybody, to themselves, from the Circuit Overseer Guidelines, from the Shepherd the Flock of God Manual, from the 2017 Convention Guidelines, if I was in these cult member shoes and somebody came up to me and was doing the same thing, I would definitely want to go to YouTube to watch myself, to examine myself, to ask myself, Stuart, why did you stay? Stuart, why did you leave? Stuart, why did you start humming? Stuart, why did you talk to the person when the person wasn't even talking to you? See, I would want answers to those questions. I hope these cult members want answers to those questions as well. An appointed cult member has come to join them. I wonder if this appointed cult member is a circuit overseer. I wonder if this appointed cult member is a circuit overseer, and he would be happy to know that I am reading to you, viewers, from Appendix D of the Circuit Overseer Guidelines regarding the Circuit Overseer checklist when considering appointments and deletions. I wonder if it is dawning on this male cult member that I'm reading in front of these female cult members directly from the 130-page packet of Circuit Overseer Guidelines. Continuing. Shepherding. Received training by elders. Teaching. Able to teach from platform or one-on-one. Past difficulties. If he was deleted as an elder, should he serve first for a time as a ministerial servant? Should he? Should he, viewers? Should that elder who was removed as an elder, who's now being recommended to serve as an elder, just spend a little more time serving as a ministerial servant first? As you know, viewers, when you are disfellowshipped from this cult, if you want to once again be spoken to like a human being, you will have to subject yourself to exactly the same behavior that these cult members, I'm forcing these cult members to be subjected to, and that is to be talked about, talked in front of, but not being spoken to. You will have to endure that for at least 6 months to possibly a year, and view how agitated and irritated these cult members get when they are presented with precisely the same behavior that they are expecting a disfellowshipped cult member to subject themselves to for 6 months before being treated like a human being. Before deleting an elder or ministerial servant, please consider the following. Sufficient scriptural disqualification? Again, viewers, what are the scriptural precedents required? What are the scriptural points that need to be met in order for a cult member to be deleted? Yes, viewers, the word is deletion. The word is deletion, viewers. When you leave this cult, when you have been kicked out of this cult, when you are removed as an elder or ministerial servant, the talk among those that haven't been is that you have been, say it with me now, deleted. When you are deleted, viewers, you're just supposed to go away. You're not supposed to have the audacity and the effrontery to approach the cult members who have not been deleted. You are to grovel, you are to beg, you are to pray, you are to fall all over yourself to prove yourself tested as to fitness. Tested as to fitness, viewers, before you are spoken to. As you know, viewers, I have tried speaking to active cult members on many occasions, and well, you know for yourself what kind of behavior to expect. As you know, I do have a sign that says, "Warning, do not offend the cult members." I printed off a few other signs in case somebody asked why. I would be able to tell them, because they are prepared to lie to you. They are prepared to threaten you. They are prepared to physically assault you. They are prepared to lie to the police about what was said. And if somebody were to say, "You know what, I don't believe you," guess what? Guess what? I would be able to show them. I would be able to show them these cult members, fellow cult members, doing precisely that on numerous occasions. Today I'm not standing here with a sign because I'm far too busy enjoying myself reading to you from the Appendix D of the Circuit Overseer Guidelines. Notice how these cult members are still lingering while I'm reading to you from those guidelines. Again, we are under the subheading, "Before deleting an elder or ministerial servant, please consider the following: sufficient scriptural disqualification, extenuating circumstances that affect field service average, meeting attendance, and so forth." What is so forth? What is so forth there, viewers? Extenuating circumstances that affect field service average, meeting attendance, and so forth. Well, as you know, viewers, the so forth there is comments, zeal for the ministry, arrival prior and lingering after the meetings, not viewing material that would offend Jehovah, attending all 3 days of their 2018 Be Courageous convention. No doubt these cult members hope to one day prove themselves tested as to fitness, so they do know that a requirement, as far as that is concerned, is that they attend all 3 days of their Be Courageous convention, where they will watch a video of police in SWAT gear swarming onto property where these cult members will be assembled. Again, Watchtower has gone to the trouble to produce propaganda for these cult members this year, where a SWAT team is going to be depicted holding their machine guns, coming to attack God's people. That cult member really does know better than to approach me right now. I wonder if I were to tell these cult members that the reason that man has walked right past me instead of coming to their defense was because the last time he came to their defense, he gave a defense by punching me in the stomach and joking about I should have deserved a punch in the face. I wonder if these cult members secretly are thinking to themselves, "Yeah, he does deserve a punch in the stomach. Way to go, Ron." See, when you're giving a defense on behalf of Jehovah, when you're giving a defense on behalf of the good news of God's kingdom, it's okay to lie, it's okay to threaten, it's okay to physically assault, it's okay to lie to the police, and it's okay to want to punch somebody in the face. I wonder if that cult member has been admonished, reproved. I wonder if that cult member decided that he wanted to reach out for privileges of service, that the clock would now start ticking, and it would take at least 3 years for the controversy to sufficiently subside. I wonder if that cult member realizes that it's now going to take 3 years at least for the controversy, for the wrongdoing, for the notoriety of the wrongdoing to subside. If he has been reproved, but then again, has he even been reproved, viewers? There's a question, viewers. Do these cult members get reproved for punching apostates in the stomach? I wonder. Hey guys, no, seriously, I'm asking you. Do you think it's fair that Jehovah's Witnesses receive a reproving for punching an apostate in the stomach? Observe the cult members really not want to answer that one, viewers. Yeah. Continuing. Oh, here comes another cult member. Look how bored she is. Look at her project how bored she is with me. Typical cult behavior. You will get a variety of responses from the cult members in situations like this. For instance, 5 of them coming to huddle, 5 of them coming to build one another up. I do believe Ron Peebles had the instinct to come and comfort these fellow cult members, but he really knew that doing so today was just not a good idea, considering he punched me in the stomach and threatened to punch me in the face. This cult member has not done that, so she does get to linger. And she too, you know what, let's start over, viewers. For the benefit who have tuned into this video a little bit later, wow, look at them all come, viewers. Right, 2017 Circuit Overseer Guidelines, Table of Contents, Chapter 8, Emergency Time Off.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Oh.
Beautiful. I'm surprised you don't have a hat on.
Yes, viewers, Jehovah provides the momentary presence of a fellow cult member when these cult members need assistance, because they have to stand and hear me read to you from the Circuit Overseer Guidelines. Chapter 8, Emergency Time Off. Chapter 10, Field Ministry. Chapter 11, HLC, 1 page. Chapter 17, Appointment and Deletion of Elders. Oh, watch this, viewers. Well, you get the point, viewers. I'm standing here with the magazines. The wind has picked up. Jehovah has seen fit to send a stiff breeze today to knock over my recording device. Speaking of which, I better make sure it's still on. Well, I can't tell if the device is still working, viewers. It's only been 3 seconds. Hopefully we are still enjoying this episode. People are beginning to stop and wonder what I'm doing. What I'm doing is drawing people to the true and living God, Jehovah, by way of holding up the magazines. Really, I shouldn't be here, viewers, because I have not been tested as to fitness. I have been disfellowshipped for apostasy, so really, I have no business standing here with these magazines, do I? Nope.
Well, I'll be first. I'm going to take you back to the 8-month-old that I can go get the car and park here and wait for it to come and then I'll run it. So I'll hide here and then I don't know if I find you.
Oh, that's so nice.
Is this spontaneous, viewers? Are we observing the result of something spontaneous? Or are we observing something as a result?
You're not allowed to record us. It's against the law.
This cult member doesn't understand that she is in a public place, that my
You're not
YouTube
allowed
channel
to record.
is not monetized, that I am not generating revenue, that I am not violating copyright, unlike the cult members that she follows. So it is actually perfectly legal for me to film this entire space. Observe the cult member not insist. Observe the cult member not call the police to tell them that I'm breaking the law by filming her in a public place. Observe this cult member hope that just saying I'm not allowed was going to be good enough. Observe this cult member really not be able to think of anything else to say, because she knows that people who are doing this form of activism have done our homework. And while Jehovah's Witnesses may be experts on the requirements for life, they apparently are not experts on privacy laws in British Columbia. These cult members are welcome to go to libelandprivacy.com, click on areas of service, privacy, and see for themselves that, yes, indeed, it is legal for you to film these cult members when they set up in public, or to film anybody else in public. Once again, viewers, we will once again start from the top regarding the Circuit Overseer Guidelines, straight from the internet's mouth. See, this is textbook cult behavior, viewers. See? You know, I feel like I'm in a meeting. I feel like I am at a meeting as a disfellowship person. Observe how these cult members have recreated the sensation of being loyal to Jehovah, ignoring a filthy, disgusting apostate right out in public. Right out in public. Again, you never know what you're going to see when you tune in to early 21st century cult members of the Pacific Northwest. Observe these cult members all huddling in a group, trying to recreate the feeling that comes with being in a group of their fellow cult members, ignoring somebody who's been disfellowshipped for apostasy. See, why bother going to a Kingdom Hall? Why bother going to a Kingdom Hall when you can just text 7 or 8 of your fellow cult members to recreate that feeling of superiority for you right in a public place, viewers? Right in a public place. Wow. Yeah. Really, this is a good thing, because from what I can tell, Kingdom Halls are being destroyed. And these cult members are going to have to be absorbed into surrounding congregations. For instance, the Robson Street Kingdom Hall is going to be sold in the near future, last I heard. I wonder if I were to ask one of these cult members if they could tell me that. I wonder if I were to ask one of these cult members, hey, I heard George Christensen praying for Jehovah's direction on the sale of the Robson Street Kingdom Hall. Is that still going through? If they would answer. I wonder if these cult members would answer me if I were to ask them questions about the sale of the Robson Street Kingdom Hall. Okay, so those cult members are leaving. They've enjoyed indulging and ignoring the filthy apostate. They're going to go try to draw one of Jehovah's sheep before the end comes. These cult members are going to linger.
Sorry, we're allowed to enjoy our public
This
place
person
without
doesn't
being
understand that I am not talking to her and that I'm enjoying my place in public as well.
But you're loitering and you're in front of our staff.
I'm going to read to you now, viewers, from the 2017 Convention Guidelines.
You're totally in our space.
Table of Contents.
We're allowed to enjoy
Chapter
ourselves publicly
8,
here.
Emergency Time Off, yeah. Chapter
So
10,
why don't you
Field
just go
Ministry.
away, or shall we just call the
Chapter,
police to
I
get you to
look
come and take you
forward
away?
to the police coming today.
Yeah,
I
I'm
look
sure
forward to the police coming
you
today.
get it all the time, I'm sure. I imagine
This
you
cult
must
member
get
doesn't
really
understand.
tired of that.
This cult member doesn't understand that the work that
You
we
don't
are doing
understand
as ex-Jehovah's that the work we are now doing is 10 times more invigorating than standing like a statue next to a sign, inviting people to go to a website instead of answering questions yourself.
Totally ruining our space here and invading.
Chapter 11, HLC. Chapter 17,
Why are you
appointment and deletion of elders and ministerial servants.
Bye.
Those with a record of past misconduct. Paragraphs 12 to 14. Appointments or deletions recommended by the branch office. Paragraph 22. Special full-time servants who experience difficulties. Paragraph 31. Resignation, deletions for judicial reasons, and death. Paragraph 34. Chapter 19, shepherding. Paragraphs 1 to 7. Appendix D checklist. As you know, viewers, the Circuit Overseer guidelines are 130 pages long. 130 pages of Circuit Overseer guidelines, so I'm not going to be walking around with the entire thing, but I will be reading to you. Observe this. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to being filmed right now, because then this cult member will have to tell somebody later that she stayed while I was reading to you, my viewers, from the 2017 Circuit Overseer Guidelines, Appendix D, checklist when considering appointments and deletions. Before making appointments of elders and ministerial servants, please consider the following, keeping in mind that each brother must measure up to a reasonable degree. Experience and maturity. Sufficient age, life experience, and respect of congregation. Baptized at least 1 year. If baptized many years ago, why only now being recommended? Family. Wife and any children living at home, good examples. Observe this cult member not continue to film me reading from the Circuit Overseer Guidelines, but this cult member coming to her aid by doing the same thing. So these cult members will be able to piece together what I was doing. Hopefully everything that I'm doing will be presented, because as you know, these cult members really do love to shape and pick and choose what they want. Whereas if they were to go to YouTube and watch my channel, they could watch beginnings, middles, and ends of our episodes. Experience and maturity. Baptized at least 1 year. If baptized many years ago, why only now being recommended? Family. Wife and any children living at home, good examples. Regular family worship. Scriptural marriage. If separated or divorced, what are the circumstances? Field service activity. I wonder if this cult member is going to remind me that it is illegal to film them in public when she just filmed me in public. I wonder if this cult member is going to think about her behavior later and realize what a cult member she proved herself to be today. You're not allowed to film us in public. Okay? Fast forward 5 minutes. Oh boy. Wow. I wonder if this cult member is starting to understand what I meant by saying that this work is 10 times more fulfilling than standing behind one of these carts like a statue, waiting for an apostate to show up so she can, keep the conversation going. Keep that conversation going for Jehovah. Family. Wife and any children living at home, good examples. Regular family worship. If separated or divorced, what are the circumstances? Again, viewers, I wonder if I'm being spied on right now by cult members who are not dressed as cult members today. See, that is a possibility. That is a possibility, viewers. The last cult member that spied on me was in the Jehovah suit. He was hiding behind the pillars at Nordstrom's and the bushes in front of Nordstrom's. So I think that they may have gotten a little smarter today. And if I am in fact being spied on, I doubt that the cult member is wearing the Jehovah suit. He's probably incognito. But really, what can they say? What can they say, viewers? How dare he read to his viewers from the Circuit Overseer Guidelines. Field service activity. Meaningful, zealous share. Restricted share because of other spiritual obligations or theocratic projects. Tested as to fitness. Shows himself to be a spiritual man. Again, viewers, each of these points is phrased in the form of a question and has a question mark after it. Oh, I am very fond of this cult member approaching now. I might have to leave out of respect for her. She truly is a lovely person. She has given about 50 or 60 years, I think, to this cult. So hopefully she'll just keep walking. But really, as you know, viewers, putting Old Yeller out of his misery is a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. This cult member is going to keep this conversation going for a long time now. See, this cult member has just heard me say that. This cult member has just heard me say how fond I am of Luella and how hard it now must be to do what I'm doing since she is lingering. So this cult member is going to fall all over herself to keep this conversation going with this sister now. Watch. Observe this cult member keep this conversation going now because of what I just said and what she knows. Feels like a meeting, viewers. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like to go to a meeting of Jehovah's Witnesses when you are an apostate and the announcement has been made, or if you've been disfellowshipped. This cult member lost interest in that conversation with her fellow cult member because she knew that she was just trying to project, that it was not a real conversation. She was just trying to get me to go away because she's so bored with the apostate. Well, I'm not bored, viewers. I do enjoy reading to you from the Circuit Overseer Guidelines. I do enjoy reading to you from the Convention Guidelines. I do enjoy reading to you from consent forms that these cult members are being asked to sign in the European Union right now. And I think I'm going to enjoy reading to you from transcripts from the Australian Royal Commission. Maybe if I took the time to type them out, I'm sure someone else has already done that. Tested as to fitness. Shows himself to be a spiritual man. Cares for responsibilities. Viewpoint of elders. Is recommendation unanimous? Past difficulties. Reproved within the past 3 years or reinstated within the past 5 years. Notoriety of past wrongdoing subsided. Definite improvement in area of previous weakness. Observe these cult members turning their backs. Judge orders yes, viewers, those cult members